Hi there, this is Annabelle Nelson. I'm an HOD faculty member. Been doing this for 22 years, and I love students. I love learning. You may see my emails. I sign off Love A. That's like, I love the fact that you're a student and you're learning. So, okay, what am I like as an advisor? Number one, I'm student-centered. My PhD is actually in behavioral psych, even though I've grown since then. But in behaviorism, we think the learner's never wrong. If someone's not learning, it's the teacher's job to create a new environment to help learning. So I'm student-centered. If you email me, I usually am back to you within 24 hours. If you request a Zoom meeting, I usually can do that within 7 days. I like constructive nagging. If you haven't heard from me for a bit, just either my cell phone is in the directory at Fielding. I have to say I'd rather not have texts, because texts are about my family and my friends, and if I get a text from you, I feel slightly alarmed. So the best thing to do is to send me an email, but you can leave me a phone message as well. I feel like it's your job to reach out to me. This is a self-directed program. Even though I'm very available, you need to tell me your needs. And I know sometimes that's difficult. Like, you don't want to communicate that you're having a hard time figuring out what to do for a paper, or that you're behind a few weeks. Of course, we know with adult learners, life happens. So sometimes out of your control, it's hard for you to meet deadlines. So sometimes it's hard to reach out to a faculty when that's happening, but your job is to constructively nag me if I'm your advisor or your mentor. So it's your job to contact me. I won't be contacting you unless I haven't heard from you for a long time. But again, I said I'm back at you 24 hours with an email. I can set up a Zoom meeting within 7 days if you contact me. If you are having difficulty, like you're way behind, I do set up bi-monthly advising appointments. And so you can suggest that, or I'll suggest that. I also like you to reach out to me about a month before pre-registration for a term. We have 3 terms at Fielding. So we can really look at what you might want to register for, either a pre-registration KA that's advertised or an individual KA. I do like to do some individual KAs if you're my advisee. So if you're getting a human development PhD, I might want to do human development with you as an individual KA. Also, once you start working on your dissertation, we'll be talking all the time. There's lots of interaction then. And I do want to let you know about my website, annabellenelson.com. There's a grad student tab, and there's so many things on that website just for you. For example, there's Fielding assessment guidelines, so you can look. It's a little dated because we used to have KAs with an overview, depth, and applied, but I think the content's good. It tells you like how I like to interact. It actually puts some points about me as a mentor. So if you look at Fielding assessment guidelines on my website. My expertise for Fielding, mainly in the last few years, has been qualitative research, particularly narrative research, content analysis. So I can definitely help you with I think I'm actually gifted in helping set up research questions and set up how you're going to do your interview protocols to get your data. But I also know a lot about learning theory. My PhD was really in learning theory. And since those years, human development is an expertise, and there's a human development tab on my website that gives you historical trends within human development. My specialty, well, I have 2 specialties, but they're kind of related. So it's how do you access the unconscious mind for greater potential? And so I have a nonprofit, the Wheel Council. You can see that, wheelcouncil.org, where we use storytelling to empower young people, usually Latinos or Native Americans, to make healthy choices. And we use stories in that. But we also, it's holistic. So we have cognitive behavioral decision making, we have knowledge, we have role plays, but we have cultural stories for cultural competence. But also, let's think about stories. When you hear a good story, you see an image, a visualization of the main character in your mind, right? And what is that? Well, that's an archetype. And so I've done a lot of writing. You can see my books on Amazon.com. Just put in Annabelle Nelson. And I've done a lot of writing about archetypes and how visualizing an archetype can open up the unconscious, release knee-jerk, emotional, reactive patterns, and get you in touch with your deeper self, the spirit self, your intuitive self, for more power and energy in your life. So that's a little bit about me, and best of luck to you at fielding.